right, so this video is going to give you the instruction you need to complete the Hello World assignment. And this is great assignment because A, we get to see each other, and you get to really learn more about that Google Drive concept. You get to learn about posting photos into Canvas, which is a little different than maybe social media if you've done that kind of posting. And then I'll have you do some updates to your Canvas profile. Okay, so but what I want to do is show you this process in Windows. As I talked about in the classwork video, I run a Mac, but I can run Windows on my Mac. So I'm actually going to switch now to that system called VirtualBox, and inside VirtualBox I have the assignment open. Okay, so I want you to see that, because this is good to look in Windows because it's good because many of you are probably on Windows. So this is your first hands-on assignment. So get this in your head. When you're doing a hands-on assignment, this is when you post your work, which we will do at the end of here. This is when you're sharing it for everyone in the class to see. When you're doing classwork, that's between you and I. But hands-on is between you and everyone in the class as far as the work that you're posting. Okay, so just get that in your head to make sure you got that. So what we're going to do is you're going to get a photo of yourself, and often students tell me that's the most challenging part of this assignment is actually finding that photo. So I'll walk you through that, and then I'll walk you through how to place it on that shared with everyone, and then I'll give you two methods for getting it into Canvas. And I'll give you my preferred method and an alternative method. And then I'll walk you through to show you how to do your Canvas profile update and then fill in some information. And then you write, again, this is a writing assignment. So once you post the photo, then you write about, and in this case, I said maybe some of your biggest challenges, but I'm open to you writing about whatever you feel comfortable sharing in this case. And maybe this is a good place to start, right? So anyway, and then completing this on time so you can see the points as I've laid them out here. All right, so let's walk through this process. So first, a photo. You probably have one in various places, but if you don't by chance, make sure you contact me at the beginning of that first week to say, hey, I need a photo taken. I'll be happy to take one of you. So I'm going to show you this because I think this is most likely where many of you will get it. So I've opened up my Facebook and I have a photo here that I'm going to use. Okay, so there's a couple of ways to get this photo out. There is a sharing option. I think it's down in here where you can actually go to options and then it gives you that download. You can do that. The other way, and this is just a good thing to know too, on typically any photo you can also right click and save as, so you can save the image as. So I'm going to do that process. So you can see I had done this before just to make sure everything worked before I started recording. And the other thing you'll want to know here is where it's saved to. So in this case it's saving to my desktop. And what you can see here too is look how long that name, that file name, and in this case that's what that is being given to the file that you're downloading from Facebook. So I often will like to, and you can see how I did this here, rename that file to something more more clear, like maybe RW picture, right? But you can see how up here I already did that process. So I'm not going to do it again, but I've already done it. But I want you to find a photo. So that's step one, is find a photo of yourself. Now I'm going to show you a next step, which is actually how to modify that photo, because you're going to want to have a larger picture of you. Matter of fact, let's go back and show you now that I've done this process. I went to my File Explorer, and for Mac users, right, that's your, actually it's called your it's on Mac it's called your File Explorer. I think on Windows it's just called Explorer. So in this case I have the two photos. So I'd like you to have one that has more of the whole shot of you, or at least from shoulders, and then just what we call a headshot. I'm going to show you how to get from this to this. If you don't already know, there is things built into your computer that you can modify in, but I want you to know how to do it from the web because it's a common place that no matter what kind of computer you're using, you can use this. So over here I have another tab open, and matter of fact I'm just going to to open up another one. I'm going to go to the website, pixlr dot, actually I think it's just pixlr.com, Pixlr. So on this website, read carefully. There may be a place where it's saying you have to download something, but you don't. You can actually just launch, and this is really important, just launch the web app. So when you launch the web app, you get this interface right here. And that's what I already had open in the other tab. But what you'll do is open an image from your computer, right? And then you'll go find that first image that I talked about. Okay, that larger image of you. In fact, let's just do that here. I'll do that and hit open. You could have also double clicked there, would have been the other way to do it. Because I want to conserve memory on my computer, I'm going to shut this other tab out because it just takes a lot. Every tab, and especially something like this, can take a lot of memory on your computer. So now what I want to do is, now that I have that photo, and you can see it on your own how large it is. So this is 800 by 800. This is probably the size you want to post into the discussion board. And then I want you to create a smaller one for you to have for your profile, your profiling canvas, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over here, and the first tool up here, this is your tool area, is called a crop tool. So I'm going to go over here, and then I'm going to place it where I'm going to start, click, hold, and drag, let go, and then it tells me here's the area. Now I can modify the area if I want, right? So I just like a headshot. This is a pretty typical thing. So now once you have the area you want, just hit it again. It'll say I'm going to apply that crop, and boom, now we have a cropped image, and you can see the new size. Now this actually, we're going to do this again next week in our screens assignment. That one is required. This one is somewhat optional, but I want you to have a headshot for the canvas. Okay, so now that I've done that, now I'm going to hit save. Right, and so now what I'm going to have here, and this is the photo, this is the name I gave it. Now I've cropped it into a small one, so I probably want to give it a new name. So I give it SM for small, and then I'm going to click OK. Now in my case I had already done it, so I'm not going to redo it, but now you'll have two photos that you can use for this assignment. Okay, and knowing where they're at is important. Okay, so that's the first part. We're pretty much done with the photo part of this, so let's move back over here. So now comes the part where you're going to continue to learn about this shared, or this Google Drive concept, and how to use the different directories we've set up. Okay, and I'm going to show you two ways to do this photo. First, the one I'd prefer you to do, which is called embedded, right? So what we're going to end up doing is placing your photo down in this area, and if I just click down in here, you'll hit reply, right? We'll see this, and you have some editing here, but what you're going to do is you're going to click into the HTML editor here in a second, but I just want you to see this is where ultimately we're going to place your photo, but not as a photo itself, but as a link to your photo. All right, you'll see it as we do it. So over here on the shared with everyone. Now what you can see here is that I had done this in a previous semester and I already uploaded those files, but now I want to show you how you do this, how you first get these photos on here. So in this case, first go into the shared with everyone. So remember, whatever you put in here, right, we're sharing with everyone. There's two ways you can get this up in here. You can do file and do file upload, right? So I'm going to do one way. So let me go ahead and do the larger one here. That's cool, right? So now I'm uploading that one. Now the headshot one I'm not going to need out on the Google Drive because we're going to place that one up on Canvas in your profile, so I don't need both. So you just need the photo, the first one we're going to need. So either one, any one of these I could use, but I think this one looks pretty nice. Okay, so now this is, so now that I have it up there, right? So let me, by the way, while we're here, let me show you the other way you could do this, which is really kind of cool, is you can actually just take this photo from your Explorer or your File Explorer, and you can just click and drag it, and it'll actually place it into there as well. So that's the other technique that you can use for doing that. Okay, so now's the step now is the process we're going to start to get this photo here, right? But again, not as a attachment, because if you do an attachment, I mark off points for that, so don't do that. do it the way I asked because you're going to end up doing this process several times in the semester. So back over here, I'm going to double click on the photo. Now this photo, right, I'm looking at it in what's called the web view in Google Docs. But interestingly enough, and I'll just zoom in and out just to kind of show you, there's some functionality that you have here, right? What I want you to do is actually go over here, right click, and I've only had a couple students not see this, so hopefully now it's on every browser. It'll either say open in a new window or open in a new tab. Okay, so before I do that though, really important, I'm actually going to copy this. Okay, my Mac thought I wanted to, my Windows wanted to adjust something. Okay, so I'm just going to copy that directory. Now this is just me giving you instruction for how I want you to do this. Okay, because if you notice when I'm looking at this URL, and that's what this whole thing is, when you look at it you can kind of tell what it is. I'm in Google Drive, I'm in a folder, and then I'm looking at that particular folder. It makes you think you're actually looking at the photo from the URL, but actually that's all in the web page. Again, don't worry too much about the verbiage. Most importantly, worry about or can be concerned about the process. Okay, so over here I'm going to do open in a new window. Now when I open this in a new window, I want you to see this. Look now at the URL. So now I'm actually viewing the photo, right? So here is the photo itself as far as the URL. Remember over here, this was the drive. Now you might be wondering, Ria, why are you emphasizing this? Here's why. If you give me the link here, it won't be correct. So make sure when you give me links, in the two ways I'm going to show you, make sure you have it in this view of the file itself. Got it? Note to self, make sure you look at this. Okay, so now we're going to do the first process, which I call the embed, which I hope most of you do this process. So you come over to what we call the hamburger, and in this case it says more actions. And now we see this embedded item. Okay, so I'm going to click the embedded item and I'm going to get some code. Now you're going to learn some code in this class, which is totally cool, but right now we're just going to select that code. As a matter of fact, we could actually read that URL because this is actually the URL that we were looking at up in the browser, and this is just wrapped in what we call an iframe. So I'm going to copy that. Cool. And now I'm going to go to Canvas, right? So now we're in Canvas, and now I'm going to do the embed example, okay? Which is what I hope most of you do. Right now, you don't have to type that text. I just want you to see the difference, right? So the embed example is you click on the HTML code, and notice that it wrapped it in a p tag. By the way, you're going to know really soon what a p tag is. It's a paragraph tag. Now, but you don't have to do this because when you come in here, you haven't typed anything. That's what it will look like for you, okay? So, no worries. What I'm going to do, though, is right underneath this extra paragraph, I'm going to paste in that code. Do you see what I did? Okay, so I'm going to go back to the rich editor, and then what happens is that photo then shows up as an embedded iframe or just HTML code. So this HTML code is actually referring, it says point out to this location and show me what's there. Oh, sorry, wrong tab. Right? So this is called, and I hope you all do this, the embed example. Okay? So now, for some students, if for some reason you do not see, and I'm going to go back and do this again because this is me originally looking at the folder, so I'll just, if for some reason you don't see that, here's an alternative process. I'm going to click again, but remember I'm only on the drive. I'm going to come over, if I don't see that, right? If I do see, everyone should see open in a new window, okay? Now, I'm going to show you the direct link. I'm going to copy this URL. Okay. I'm going to copy this URL, and now I'm going to come back here. And now this is the, right? As a matter of fact, I should put it under, but that's okay. I'm going to say the direct link. Now, again, this is just an alternative to the embed, right? I'm going to click and drag across the text. You might say something like, if you were doing this, this might be my photo, right? Now in this case you do actually have to type some text. In the first embed you didn't. As a matter of fact, what you will end up doing is writing some text below, but I'm just going to show you if you had to do this process, this alternative process, this is how you do it. Now in this case, and by the way, this is good to know because you're going to see links, and I've already shown you in classwork how to do it. I'm going to go link to the URL. So again, I typed the text, I clicked and dragged across the text, link to URL, and I'm going to hit Control V. Oh, wrong one. Ah, wrong one. Very good. Sometimes errors happen for a reason. I'm going to hit X and get out. I just didn't grab the right. Let me go back again. Go this one. I just didn't grab the code, and I could tell it was doing the iframe. That's why. So we'll do this one again. Right, I've already got it selected. Link the URL, Control V. Ah, there we go. Now this one's going to look different, but we're going to insert the link. Very cool, right? So now we have the photo link as well. One last step, I do want you to go into HTML, even this first example, which is the direct link right here, my photo. That's the first one. Here it is, right? And I want you to do this at the end. And actually, we're going to do this later. Is target equal, open quotes, underscore, blank. Now, the reason we do that, and I'm going to go ahead and go back to the HTML editor. So I went, in this case, the direct link leak example. If you have to do it, also make sure you put this at the end of the view, at the quote, space, target equal, quotes, underscore, blank, and then that goes into right there. Now when you do that, what's cool about that, so you can see the two ways, is that you get this, and you actually may get this without doing that, is a link. Now the why you'd want this is if you didn't do it, when you clicked on this, then the person looking at it, their whole tab that they're in Canvas would go away, or it would go to that image. So now you can see the two ways of doing it. So my preferred way is the embed. I think it just looks better. You don't have to go somewhere else. You could see it. But if for some reason you have a challenge, do the direct link. Okay? All right. All right. Last step in this process is I want you to take that headshot and update your Canvas. So you come over here to your account. You go over to your profile. Okay, in here, if you just move your mouse into this area, you get the pen, and then you can upload a photo. So then you go find the photo, choose a photo. Here we go. So you can actually take one if you want, but I would have done that small one, clicked open, and then you would have gotten it. Okay, so I want you to have a photo in there, and if you want to add anything in here as far as bio or other links, that's cool too. But that's a required part of this. So we're actually almost done. I know there's a couple of moving pieces here, but it's really good information to understand how to make it work, because this is stuff you're going to use over and over again in this class, right? So this is your week 1 Hello World assignment. I think I've gone over everything you need to do. Make sure you follow along. And I do end with this, that if for some reason you're uncomfortable sharing your photo, just reach out to me and come up with something, some kind of image that would represent you. Okay, so I do give that alternative. I would like you to consider doing your photo, but I can't really mandate that, nor should I, because if you're uncomfortable, I want to respect that. All right, I think that's it. That's example is down there, so have a great time. Hope you learned something from doing this work.